Good evening, and thank you for joining us for another edition of Falcon Update, live on YBTV. I'm Noah White.
And I'm Emma Dingus. The Department of Safety reported report of a 2013 gray Ford Fusion and a 2018 white Ford Explorer stolen from G-Lot by Mellinger and other vehicles unlawfully entered in the morning. The Upper Allen Police Department released this information this afternoon. Any student who knows more regarding the incident are encouraged to reach out to the Upper Allen Police Department at 717-238-9676. At this time, safety will increase patrolling in the parking lots around campus. As always, make sure to park in your assigned lot and double check that your car is locked.
You may have noticed that the Ingalls Center is getting a facelift. Here's Josh McLeaf with the story.
Was simply working on connecting the Ingalls Center to what is known as the power plant behind Sullenberger Sports Center. But all of this is part of a bigger project that will include some renovations and additions to the Ingalls Center. Those additions coming after some feedback from Messiah students and staff.
One of the nursing complaints, I guess, has been that the examination rooms are very, very small.
Thanks to some government grants and fundraising, Messiah now has the opportunity to expand the Ingalls Center.
So there will be a significant amount of square footage extending the building out. And then also we'll be able to refurbish the entire interior, and we'll have bigger rooms for all of them, for counseling and for physical health.
Most of the construction and renovations will begin in May, and students don't need to worry about their access to care being affected this academic year.
The Ingalls Center typically does close down over the summer months when students are primarily gone. And that's when the bulk of the construction is supposed to be happening. But we're really hoping that come early August to mid-August of 2023, that the new facility will be opened.
But if that deadline isn't met, where will students access physical or mental care?
If we need to provide a temporary facility for a short amount of time, we would communicate that.
Any questions about the project or concerns can be taken to the Ingalls Center or the Dean of Students. For YBTV, I'm Josh McLeaf.
If you did not already realize, today is October 31st, which means it's Halloween. But what does this mean for Christians at Messiah? Marie Miller tells us more.
It's the end of October, and not only does that mean that the fall leaves are almost done changing, it also means that Halloween is right around the corner. This holiday can be a controversial or taboo subject for some Christians.
It's up to everyone's interpretation on how they want to glorify God, and if they find this as a glorifying thing, then they can do that. But for my own personal beliefs, I am not doing that just because I don't think it does glorify Him.
Dillsburg Brethren in Christ pastor Rob Douglas dates this shift in Christian attitude toward Halloween back to the 70s.
The charismatic renewal movement that starts in the 60s seems to have an uptick in the late 70s, early 80s in the church, and that would parallel this same time frame. So was this super heightening of our awareness of the spiritual realm, and so we were aware both of the good and the bad.
Many Christians and students at Messiah choose alternative methods to celebrate Halloween. One of these students is Mia Cuevos.
No, I didn't celebrate Halloween because, my parents believed that it was kind of like devil's holiday, but more the fact that it glorifies death and darkness and witchcraft, and as a Christian we're supposed to be the light, so it's total opposite.
Whether you're going out to celebrate Halloween, staying in, or not doing anything at all, I hope you have a safe and restful October 31st. For YBTV, I'm Marie Miller, sending it back to the desk.
All of the fun costumes broke out this weekend for numerous Halloween events. Sports teams, clubs, and locals on campus hosted costume parties for dances for the students to attend. The wrestling team had their event Saturday night. History Club had a costume party Saturday, complete with games and a Kahoot that taught students about the history of the holiday, as well as some little-known facts about U.S. and Messiah history. Many of these events had costume contests in which students brought some elaborate and creative costumes. Some crafted themselves. On Sunday, the Union had their 70s-themed Halloween dance. Many students on campus turned up and displayed their dance moves as the DJ turned up the volume. Students had plenty of space to show off their costumes and enjoy some Halloween-themed events. Messiah's Multicultural Council is an executive organization that works to promote more inclusivity on campus. This week, they held an open council meeting to have conversations about how they are trying to shape the social environment on campus.
MCC works towards allowing those who are interested, who want to grow and learn more with either each other, with friends and fellow students, or just the background, the historical and cultural backgrounds themselves, to feel welcomed and to get to learn more. For LAL, as mentioned, we focus with the Hispanic and Latino communities. However, we also want to implement more about those who are mixed race. Sometimes those are forgotten or don't always know where they fit in.
So you want me to get this too?
Yeah, get ready and I'll cue you. But I don't know if I missed.
Make sure to keep an eye out for more of MCC's upcoming events like Island Vibes on November 5th.
It's that time of the year where students in the music department are performing their senior recitals. Rosie Sciano has the story.
One big graduation requirement for music department students is the senior recital. Today we spoke to Maddie Felix about what goes into one.
So much goes into planning. We first have to start with picking the music, obviously. So we pick that months in advance, and for pianists it's a little bit more difficult because we have to memorize everything. So I started working on some of this music 2 years ago. And for voice it's a little quicker, but just planning that, and then getting everything else set up with the reception and the people involved, it's just a lot involved.
Maddie performed 13 pieces, all ranging from 1 to 2 movements.
Other than it being a requirement for me to graduate, which is always nice, I just love performing, and I love being able to share what I've worked on with people, my family, my friends, who have come to support me over the past 4 years, and just really share what I've been working on, mainly.
Not only can Maddie play the piano, her talent ranges from classical to modern music. Maddie has big plans for her future.
I hope to be a high school choral director. I'll be student teaching next spring in a high school, so hopefully I'll get some good experience there, and then keep doing what I love after that.
For YBTV, I'm Rosie Sciano.
On Friday night, students gathered in the Union to watch the band showcase hosted by SAB. 2 groups performed for the crowd, a Harrisburg-based band named In Yellow and a music duo that goes by Rob and Rizzo. In Yellow showcased their alternative rock focus with songs like Kilby Girl and Foundations of Decay. Meanwhile, the pair of freshmen, Rob Chmensky and Aiden Rizzo, showcased performances like Fast Car and Upside Down, highlighting their talent as newcomers to the Messiah music scene. On their formation of a group, Aiden Rizzo and Rob Chmensky had this to say.
I'd love to continue playing for Coffee House, maybe even, go gig together somewhere, start a larger band than what we have right now. We could get some more people involved, yeah.
5, 4, no, 3.
Messiah students can look forward to more performances hosted by SAB in the future.
For this week's Bird's Eye View, we have a spooky edition for you. Here's Caleb Kukin getting himself into one heck of a pickle.
I'm Caleb Kukin, and for this Halloween edition of Bird's Eye View, we're setting up for the Halloween dance.
My name's Hunter Rohr. I am on a tech crew member on the sound and lighting team. So I'm just plugging in power here, real simple, to provide power for the DJ's board and his laptop. Yeah, so dances are generally pretty easy. A lot of what we'll be doing during the actual concert is just or actual dance is just moving lights, changing light colors, making sure the crowd's kind of having fun with our lights, I guess. Generally be mixing those all the time, but with a dance it's just a computer audio and a mic for announcing, but it's pretty easy.
While Hunter taught me about all the different sound inputs, I absorbed everything. Well, almost everything. This has been Bird's Eye View. Thanks for watching. Now I got a dance I got to go to.
Up next, weather, Falcon on the Street, and the Vault.
Don't go anywhere just yet. Falcon Update will be right back. About a week ago, Taylor Swift released her new album, Midnights. For this week's Falcon on the Street, we interviewed the student body about what they thought on the pop star's new album.
Rosie Schiano, and today we're outside the SAB office listening to Taylor Swift's new album, where we're going to ask students what they think about her new album.
Hi, I'm Caitlin, and I really love the album Midnights by Taylor Swift, of course. My favorite song on the album is probably Lavender Haze, because that's a really good song to vibe with, windows down, going 35. Oh, I drive very slowly, but we're good, you know.
I love the album so much, I stayed up until midnight and listened to it right when it came out, of course, and I went through it twice before going to bed. So that was fun. But I would say my favorite song is Karma. It's just a nice upbeat song, and I love listening to it when I walk around campus because it makes me feel like I'm like the main character in a movie or something like that. Yay.
So honestly, I wasn't a huge fan of the album at first. I had to listen to it a few times before it grew on me. Now I'd say that Labyrinth is my favorite song. I really like it. I think it's very emotional and kind of reminds me of Folklore and Evermore, which are my two favorites, so yeah.
So honestly, this wasn't my favorite Taylor Swift album. I just thought it was a little bit different, which is not bad obviously, but my favorite song of the album was Midnight Rain.
I really enjoyed listening to the Taylor Swift album, the new Midnights one, and I would say my favorite song would be Midnight Rain.
That's it for this episode of Falcon on the Street. For YBTV, I'm Rosie Schiano.
Here is Josh McLeaf with this week's Falcon forecast.
Noah, Emma, a little bit of a damp Halloween as we've seen some scattered showers throughout the day here on the campus of Messiah. Those showers coming in from the west and going across different parts of the state, so we're not the only one seeing those. And there's a good chance that rain may continue as we move into the rest of the night and into early Tuesday morning. So we'll take a look at our temperature for today. Right now sitting at about 58 degrees, so pretty comfortable temperature-wise. We're going to go down to 55, but again, a good chance we'll see some more of those showers as we work our way into the first day of November. So a wet ending to October, but a very warm welcome from November this week. If you take a look at these temperatures, a lot of sun going on and pretty warm temperatures as well. I mean, 70 degrees for our high on Tuesday, 69 on Wednesday, Thursday 67, and Friday 68. This is pretty well above our average for what we usually see this time of year. Our usual temperature around this time of year is 61 degrees or 60 degrees. So not smashing the record, but definitely warmer than what we might usually see. And take a look at these lows as well. 50 degrees on Tuesday, 43 on Wednesday, 41 Thursday, 48 Friday. We're not going to dip down to the 30s like we did over the weekend. It's going to be pretty comfortable in that range. And that's a trend that will continue as we move into the weekend. So we'll take a look at Saturday and Sunday. Look at this, 74 high for both Saturday and Sunday, both lows of 53 as well. An absolutely beautiful weekend. Maybe some clouds, but besides that, the sun will be out. It might be that last true nice weekend that we see before we move into the rest of November and start to work our way towards winter. And also a reminder for this weekend, daylight savings. Don't worry, it is the good one. You'll get that extra hour of sleep when the clock rolls back, but that does mean our days will get darker earlier than they have in the past couple of weeks, as they have kind of been getting darker already. But do make sure you change that clock. I don't want you to be too early to your 8 a.m. on Monday. And that's all I have for your Falcon forecast. I'm Josh McLeaf, sending it back to the desk.
Thanks, Josh. Let's go to Kelly Gainey in the vault for this week's Dose of History.
Welcome back to the Vault, where I unlock Messiah's history 1 week at a time. I'm your host, Kelly Gainey. This week, we dive into the life story of Arthur Climenhaga. He was born in 1916 here on Messiah's campus. Arthur was destined to make an impact here. He grew up to earn 3 different degrees from 3 different schools and spent time as a missionary in Zimbabwe, like his parents before him. His life experience made him the perfect candidate to become the next president of Messiah in 1960. He came in at a pivotal point in Messiah's development as a college. Under Climenhaga, Messiah would receive their first official regional accreditation, boosted enrollment, offered teaching certificates, which went on to launch their education program, and officially named Falcon as our mascot. Messiah was also making strides to expand athletics to intercollegiate competition in 1963. Messiah participated in their first athletic contest against a non-Christian institution. While being president at Messiah, Climenhaga saw the Berlin Wall be constructed, the Cuban Missile Crisis, the first human to be sent to space, the height of the Civil Rights Movement, Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech, and the passing of the Civil Rights Act in 1964. Arthur Climenhaga's service to the college would be short-ending in 1964 to become the executive director of the National Association of Evangelicals. He would go on to live a very full life embedded in service and leadership, eventually passing peacefully in his home with his family in 2005. That's all for this week. Make sure to tune in next week for arguably the most impactful president, D. Ray Hostetter, who served here for 30 years.
Well, Noah, it looks like we're missing a segment tonight.
That's right, Emma. We are missing campus calendar from tonight's show, but don't you worry. You can still catch it posted on our YouTube channel after YBTV every Monday night.
You'll be scared for a second. But don't go anywhere, guys. YB Tonight will be right back with sports. Okay.
The new athletic training curriculum at Messiah College is a 5-year accelerated program that results in completion of a bachelor's in applied health science with a concentration in pre-athletic training and a master's of science in athletic training.
When I was introduced to the athletic training program at Messiah, I knew right away that it was going to be the right fit for me. There was just so much support and so much interest in me as an individual, and that community was really something special.
I think a student should be interested in studying this program, particularly at Messiah, largely because of the people that we have. Students are going to formally participate in case studies and case reviews, and there's also opportunities for collaboration with the faculty.
My friendship with the program director, Dr. Matt Lewis, has supported my journey as a Christian, as an athletic trainer, and as a scientist.
We are passionate about our students, and we're also passionate about the profession of athletic training.
A student would want to study the finance major here at Messiah for several reasons. Students here are working and practicing in a setting in our finance lab with technology that they're going to use when they leave here and work in the field. And so our students are certified in Bloomberg. In addition, in several classes, our students are actually performing consulting projects with local financial and investing firms.
I think the biggest thing that surprised me about coming for the finance major here was just the scope that you get in all the different classes. So anything from corporate finance to portfolio management and security analysis, you touch on everything. Getting into investment club was something I really was looking forward to coming here to Messiah. I knew from very early on I wanted to get involved.
There's nothing wrong with going out, being successful, making money, but not allowing money to have a higher place in your life than God. So our goal is to get our students started off on their career path quicker and better positioned than any of their peers.
Welcome back to Falcon Update on YBTV. Here to catch you up on the latest in Messiah sports. I'm Jorge Zambrano.
And I'm PJ Rydell. It's that time of year where we're finally getting into the thick of the MAC playoffs for fall sports here at Messiah. Jorge, first off, how about the cross-country season?
Well, PJ, they wrapped up another spectacular season this weekend in the MAC championships. The men's team captured their 4th championship in their last 5 years. And not only did they win the championship, but they won several individual awards. Logan Horst was named Runner of the Year, Luca Fetter named Rookie of the Year, and Coach Dale Fogelsanger was named Coach of the Year.
Some huge wins there for Messiah Cross Country. Congratulations to the entire cross country team on a great year, but the playoffs are far from over here at Messiah. We're just getting started. The Falcons made some incredible plays to secure their playoff spots this past week, and we'll look at some of them in our Falcon 4.
Our first highlight of the week comes from the men's soccer big 7-0 win over Albright last week, where the Falcons scored early and often. Jake Lentkoop got the scoring started for the Falcons. Here we see the Falcons on the attacking end. Beautiful center cross there over the goalie, and Lentkoop beats the defenders, just taps it in for the easy goal. Let's see it again. Over the goalie. Goalie whiffs on it, and Lentkoop right behind the defenders, taking the score 1-0. The men's team finished the regular season with a staggering 17-0-1 record, and they'll play in the MAC semifinals on Wednesday.
Great goal there by Jake Lentkoop. Highlight reel for sure. The women's team as well finished a strong season. And we've got 2 highlights from them tonight. The first one here coming up for women's soccer comes from their dominant 5-0 win over Lebanon Valley on Wednesday. This one we start off in the corner as Kenzie Spodnik launches it in from the corner. Off a couple defenders, okay, nothing happening. Spodnik gets it back again. Spodnik serving it again. And Julia Martin out of nowhere with the perfect header into the upper 90. And that gives the Falcons another goal on the afternoon. Take a look at it again. Great placement, perfect ball, perfect header for Julia Martin. And like I said, that won't be our last highlight from women's soccer. Jorge, how about a field hockey highlight?
Oh, I've got you covered, PJ. As our next highlight comes from the field hockey team's win over Lebanon Valley on Wednesday. With the Falcons already up a goal in the first, Maddie Johnson tacked on some insurance. Here we see Falcons in the arc, pass over to Maddie Johnson with the open lane and scores the ball with a nice shot there. Open lane, let's see it again. The goalie not having any idea what to do, ball goes right past her. And the field hockey team would end up defeating Lebanon Valley 4-0, which knocked Lebanon Valley out of playoff contention. The Falcons finished the season with a strong 14-2 record, and they'll host the MAC semifinals on Wednesday.
Another great goal there, and we've got one last final highlight for this week's Falcon 4, where we once again turn our attention to women's soccer, but this time against Albright. As we take a look at this one, the ball served across the middle there for the Falcons. Maddie Hughes grabs it and kicks it in backwards. Now this might not look like much, but wait a second for the replay and trust me. Across the front, Hughes grabs it and flicks it with the heel underneath, through, and into the goal to give the Falcons the big win. That would be a 7-0 win, dominant win for the Falcons as they finish their regular season with a final record of 15-1-2, good for the #1 seed in the MAC. They'll host the MAC semifinals as well on Wednesday night.
Well, that wraps up our Falcon 4 highlights for this week, but we're not done yet. The men's lacrosse team recently hosted their annual Mustache Bash fundraising event, and Caleb Kukin was there to see what it's all about.
Messiah's men's lacrosse team brought back an old tradition last Friday, the Mustache Bash.
It's about a 20-year running event for the guys in the team to host just a little campus party. It's an opportunity for the Messiah lacrosse team to create a fundraiser that brings the campus together. There's music, there's games. They've got a couple fun traditions that they do, and at the end, all the proceeds from the event, the t-shirt sales, different things, go towards supporting the lacrosse program.
Paying $1 to launch a pastry at one of the players was one of the many fun traditions the athletes themselves have carried on through the years.
Yeah, so the Mustache Bash is an event that is run by student athletes. The events, they kind of come up with them on their own. There's some traditional components because it's been almost 20 years of a running event, barring our COVID exception.
Events like this will help build on the great culture Coach Carson is already creating.
I think the word goodwill stands as a big testament to what our guys want to create. I think the sport of lacrosse in general kind of has a negative stigma behind it, and we want to be known as a program that represents, bringing glory to God, represents the name of Jesus the Messiah in a positive light. And on this campus, we want to be known as guys that care for other people.
For YBTV, I'm Caleb Kukin.
That looked like a blast, Caleb, and I have to say, you'd be a lot better prepared for that than I would be, unfortunately. Maybe I'll work on it next year. That'll do it for this week's Falcon Update, but don't go anywhere. On the other side of this break, our host Jessica Fannin will be bringing with us this week's edition of YB Tonight. Stay tuned.
Happy Halloween, and welcome back to a new episode of YB Tonight. I'm your host, Jessica Fannin. This week, we'll talk about Powerhouse with Luke Anderson after he gives us a special performance. And later, we'll learn about the Collaboratory with Josh Hawley. All of this is coming up right after a quick break.
Forests bring people together, feed the soul, and improve our well-being, cleaning the water we need, the air we breathe, and making our climate livable. Fires and natural disasters devastate our forests each year. That's why the Arbor Day Foundation is working to replant millions of trees across the country. Visit arborday.org and see how you can help.
I grew up creative, always drawing. Legos, played a ton of Legos from the time I could start putting them together. When I got into school, I thought I was going to be a painter, and then I thought I was going to be a graphic designer, but it wasn't until I took my first foundations of art class, 3D design, where I was carving a salt block, just a little carpenter chisel, and I stuck it underneath the water, and it kind of started deteriorating, and I loved it, and it felt comfortable, and it felt right, and that's when I realized that 3D is where I belong. Sculpture is what I needed to pursue. If you feel that passion in your belly, if you wake up and you got to make something, if you grab a paper clip and you manipulate it into some form, or you're doodling in your sketchbook, or everything you do you see through a more creative side, then listen to that spirit talking in you and follow it. And for that young artist, it's hard and it's difficult, but you got to just keep on doing it. You got to just keep on doing it. We were all there. We want to hang out with you. We want you to look over our shoulder and watch us cut this piece. Ask us that question. Don't be scared. Everybody has that starting point.
Welcome back to YB Tonight. Right now, we're joined by Luke Anderson, a drummer from Powerhouse. Luke, do your thing. Great. Thank you so much. When we come back, Luke, I will sit down and chat about Powerhouse and his experience with the group. Don't miss it.
I'm a double major in both film and media arts and Spanish. I grew up making films as a kid. I saw that Messiah had a film program, and so when I visited, I just thought this is the perfect fit. Both the theory and practical considerations here have really increased my skill set, not just in a technical sense, but also from a theoretical perspective as well. I think the biggest piece that I'll add to my portfolio before I graduate is the final film for the junior and senior film project. That'll probably be my crowning achievement because I'm working with so many other artists and other film majors, and it's just been a really great opportunity so far. I think I'm most excited to use skills I've learned in documentary class. I have to make ethical decisions in every step of the process to really come up with a strong and truthful way to tell someone else's story. I think my professors have done a really great job of being strong examples for what combining your faith and your ethics with an art form like film, what that looks like. And so the interactions have almost always been positive because they're really invested in what their students are learning. One of my most valuable experiences was my internship, where I was able to actually apply what I learned in the classroom to the real world, and I think that's a completely invaluable experience. Personally, I did my internship with the Department of Natural Resources in Maryland. One of my favorite experiences at Messiah so far has actually been the Splice Film Festival, which allows students to submit their own personal work. And being able to share the art that I created as well as my fellow classmates was absolutely beautiful. I think the market right now is very open for film and media arts majors. There's a lot of different ways that you can plug in, both at nonprofits, at regular organizations. I worked in the government, and so I think there are absolutely a lot of opportunities.
Welcome back to YB Tonight. I'm Jessica Fannin. We're still joined by Luke Anderson, who just gave us a special performance before the break. That was thank you for coming again. I want to talk to you more about Powerhouse. First, most of Messiah students probably know about Powerhouse, but for those who don't, can you tell us what it's like?
Yeah, sure. So Powerhouse is an hour night of worship that we get every Thursday night. And every Thursday night in Hostetler Chapel, we get about an hour of worship, and it's just a great time just to be able to come as a student body to be able to worship together.
What does your involvement in Powerhouse look like?
So for me personally, I'm a drummer for Powerhouse, but being a first-year student, I also don't have that many responsibilities, but drumming is my main responsibility, as well as building up the team and everybody else.
What inspired you to join Powerhouse?
My brother Ellis Anderson used to play for Powerhouse, and so he was my main inspiration. But other than that, it has been, playing for a Christian body and a Christian team, just so I had it back home.
That's wonderful. What is your favorite thing about Powerhouse?
My favorite thing about Powerhouse is the community. They're never afraid to build each other up. They love encouraging everybody, as well as the leaders, Abs and Moises, are very good at encouraging each other and the whole team.
Do you feel like your involvement has influenced your faith?
I would say that my involvement has influenced my faith, yes. It has definitely encouraged me to be proactive about what my spiritual gifts are and being able to use them. Like serving is something that I definitely care about, and that has definitely helped me.
That's wonderful. How can other students get involved in Powerhouse?
Anyways, students can get involved in Powerhouse would be tech, or if you have any musical abilities, doing that, which auditions are usually at the beginning of the school year. And as well as just, even if you're not on the tech or the worship, as making sure that the body that comes in, that they just feel comfortable and welcomed.
Right. So tell us a little bit more about your musical talent. How long have you been playing the drums?
Yeah, so I've been playing drums since 9th grade. I took lessons for maybe about 4 years, but I've had a drum set for, since I was a little kid. I never really played though, but I grown up in a musical family. My dad and brother play guitar for their whole lives, so I definitely am raised in a musical family.
That's wonderful. Can you play any other instruments?
I can. I did. I dabble in piano. I play a little bit of guitar, a little bit of bass. So I play a little bit of everything.
That's awesome. So how do you think Powerhouse might change in the future?
I don't see, the thing is about Powerhouse is we don't have any plans to change in the future unless the leaders plan to change it. But the only way I could say that it could potentially change would be with the student body that's coming in to, just give us new musical opportunities. If we have people that have different singing styles or music styles, they definitely would be able to change the environment, and it would be very good.
Great, Luke. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Your performance was wonderful. When we come back, Josh Hawley will tell us about the collaboratory. Stay tuned.
A student would want to study the finance major here at Messiah for several reasons. Students here are working and practicing in a setting in our finance lab with technology that they're going to use when they leave here and work in the field. And so our students are certified in Bloomberg. In addition, in several classes, our students are actually performing consulting projects with local financial and investing firms.
I think the biggest thing that surprised me about coming for the finance major here was just the scope that you get in all the different classes. So anything from corporate finance to portfolio management and security analysis, you touch on everything. Getting into Investment Club was something I really was looking forward to coming here to Messiah. I knew from very early on I wanted to get involved.
There's nothing wrong with going out, being successful, making money, but not allowing money to have a higher place in your life than God. So our goal is to get our students started off on their career path quicker and better positioned than any of their peers.
My name is Nathan Sims. I'm a junior at Messiah, and I'm a double major in both film and media arts and Spanish. I grew up making films as a kid. I saw that Messiah had a film program, and so when I visited, I just thought this is the perfect fit. Both the theory and practical considerations here have really increased my skill set, not just in a technical sense, but also from a theoretical perspective as well. I think the biggest piece that I'll add to my portfolio before I graduate is the final film for the junior and senior film project. That'll probably be my crowning achievement because I'm working with so many other artists and other film majors, and it's just been a really great opportunity so far. I think I'm most excited to use skills I've learned in documentary class. I have to make ethical decisions in every step of the process to really come up with a strong and truthful way to tell someone else's story. I think my professors have done a really great job of being strong examples for what combining your faith and your ethics with an art form like film, what that looks like. And so the interactions have almost always been positive because they're really invested in what their students are learning. One of my most valuable experiences was my internship, where I was able to actually apply what I learned in the classroom to the real world, and I think that's a completely invaluable experience. Personally, I did my internship with the Department of Natural Resources in Maryland. One of my favorite experiences at Messiah so far has actually been the Splice Film Festival, which allows students to submit their own personal work, and being able to share the art that I created as well as my fellow classmates was absolutely beautiful. I think the market right now is very open for film and media arts majors. There's a lot of different ways that you can plug in, both at nonprofits, at regular organizations. I worked in the government, and so I think there are absolutely a lot of opportunities.
Welcome back to YB Tonight. I'm here with Josh Holly, a mechanical engineer student and a member of Collaboratory. Josh, how are you doing tonight?
Doing great, thanks for having me.
That's great. I want to ask you more about Collaboratory. What is Collaboratory?
So the Collaboratory is a big engineering lab in Fry 70. Definitely check it out if you haven't. It's where a lot of different team members gather together with project managers being the engineering professors with teams all throughout the world, U.S. and international. Yeah, it's awesome.
Awesome. So what are some projects that Collaboratory is working on?
So my project, I'm the student project manager for the Nepal wheelchair team. Other projects could be the Nepal Prone Trolley, which is a partner with ours in the same hospital. You also have the modular mobility, intelligent water system, the ALS system, the bridge team, all different types you have for mechanical, electrical, environmental, civil, biomedical engineering. You have like the prosthetics, all that great stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah. So what are some projects that you're specifically involved in, and what does that look like?
So yeah, my project as the student project manager is the Nepal wheelchair team. I deal with a lot of like leadership stuff, logistics work. I'm the direct bridge between my project manager, Dr. Van Dyke, and then the rest of the team. Just like relaying different messages, basically like due dates for future project reviews or documentation that's due. Just keeping the team in good spirits and just working on our day-to-day. Yeah.
Awesome. So what is your favorite part about Collaboratory?
Yeah, it's a great question. Favorite part about Collaboratory is definitely just working as a team. It's like a 4-year internship really for engineers. You can work on it as 2 years as a volunteer, and then 2 years you're actually graded as your coursework. And I just love like working with our partner in Nepal and just getting connected, just internationally working with third world countries and really helping people.
That's amazing. So what are some challenging parts of Collaboratory?
Big challenge for us is just getting our goals in every cycle. There's 2 cycles in the fall and 2 cycles in the spring. just getting all the deadlines on time. You got documentation, which comes up quicker than we like usually, and then project reviews, which are presentations, which are like an hour and a half, and then we have a panel, and there's a lot of just feedback that we like. And yeah.
Right, so as a mechanical engineer student, what classes do you think prepare you best for collaboratory?
Yeah, definitely. Engineering design tools, you have materials engineering. There's a bunch more that I'm getting into. So your first 2 years, you do a lot of general education classes. You get into more engineering your junior and senior year, so definitely those classes. The engineering design tools really helped me with SolidWorks. We use that a lot as a mechanical engineering. And then materials really helps with the wheelchair because it's steel and you have to deal with the different welding and heating the metal up, which expands and contracts it, and how different aspects of that work.
Nice. So what inspired you to become a part of Collaboratory or to pursue mechanical engineering?
Right. Well, the just uniqueness of the Collaboratory is a big reason why I wanted to come to Messiah. It's just, yeah, so many different ways you can get involved with it. I just wanted to be a mechanical engineer because all my background with ATV motocross and engineering in that aspect is with just engines in general, working with your hands, motorsports, and it really just comes down to just the curiosity to know how things work and understand them just around you, and just science and math and physics. So just really liking it so far.
That really sounds interesting. So what are some things that Collaboratory has planned for the future?
In the future, definitely additional projects. My one friend is just started a new project this year. He's the SPM of that. So that's been going good. Because projects don't last forever. They'll end. I think mine is ending this spring, and then there'll be new ones coming up. And then with the discipleship community, which is a chapel, there's a chapel for engineers on Thursdays. So definitely new things to come. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thanks for watching YBTV. And tune in next Monday at 7 p.m. for more on Yellow Breeches Television.